Hello, everybody. Welcome back to W.T.F. What's Trending Friday? It's a bro.
What's up, man? Sorry, you started? I'm still fixing my camera. Doing good, doing good. I'm glad to see you survived last week.
Uh, that is very subjective because I don't know if I survived. Something we can talk about later on today. But how's your weekend
Um,
or
Weekend,
weekend weekday week,
weekdays, yeah.
weekday?
It's going still coming back to normalcy from Dosai. Definitely ate too much. Played cards, had fun, danced. Too
That's
much
great.
sweet. I think
Yeah,
my dentist won't be happy next time I go visit. How
yeah,
about you?
man. I mean, for me, same old, same old. Didn't really get to play cards this weekend, or this week. I keep saying weekend because it's Friday, so the weekends
It's
is coming.
Friday. It's
Yeah,
Friday.
weekend.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday! Welcome to
Woohoo.
WTF. Yeah,
We
man.
need to
Same
start.
old.
We need to start playing like the Friday music at the beginning
Yeah,
of our podcast.
yeah. We should have like a chime going, like
Friday, Friday. One is on it.
I don't know what that is.
Okay,
Maybe,
we'll
but
figure
yeah,
it out.
yeah, we'll figure it out. What I was saying was like, yeah, man, it was just like the week, just working, chilling, figuring out like just listening to everything that's happening around the world, talking about the Eagles,
A
making my
lot's
little
going on.
TikTok video. Yeah, yeah, I know, right?
Mhm.
Like a lot is going on, and today we're gonna cover a lot of that. Well, like not
Okay,
a
so
lot of that stuff, but
give
some of
us,
that.
give us a rundown. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, for sure. So today we're going to be talking about, first of all, the continued government shutdown. We will be talking about, we're going to be showing a video of Stephen Miller on CNN where he talk about plenary of authority. We'll dive a little deeper once we get to that. And also be going over peace deal with Palestine and Israel. Some good development in that regard. We're very glad that there's some positive news coming out of that, but we'll obviously dive deeper into the nitty gritty details of what is actually happening with that deal. We will also lightheartedly talk about the Nobel Peace Prize because I know that's a big deal at the moment. And
Wait,
then
he didn't win.
who?
You know who?
You know who didn't win? Should he have won? I mean, that's something we can talk about it during that section. But just as
Okay.
a uh, I don't know. We'll get to it when we get to it. But I know he didn't win. He didn't win. He wanted to win. But we can go over that once we get there, and then we'll go over maybe some weekend plans since it's Friday. We'll just have some lighthearted conversation, and then to end it all, I will be talking about Philly sports, the Eagles, the Flyers, the Phillies. A lot to talk about in that space right now. I might get animated. Stay until then, guys. If you or skip to that part.
Yeah. Um, I might have to go because when you get animated, I usually have to duck and cover. So
Yeah, well, you're. I mean, it's. I'm glad we're doing this from like each other's spaces. I'm at my house. You're at your
yeah,
house, but
I,
I'm just. I can.
I
Yeah, I
feel
can.
safe. I feel
Yeah,
safe.
for now. But we are envisioning this, like WTF, is gonna be something where we might be together, sitting in the same
Yeah,
space.
I think that is coming up soon, and I think everyone who's watching will. I hope you're also excited, as excited as we are. We
Yeah.
will be doing this more in person, which will allow us to do more fun stuff.
Yeah. So when that does happen, oh Titi Herazi, when I get animated, you might have to duck and cover. You might you might need some gear. like I'm like
I'll
oh then,
I'll make sure to ask Pigeon Feather Studio for a bodyguard.
oh, yeah, and some insurance too, like
Yeah.
workers' comp, right? All right, let's jump right in there. So the first thing we're gonna talk about today is the continued government shutdown. How many days has it been actually?
According to this timer I've got in front of me, it's 9 days, 14 hours, and 50 minutes and something
Wow.
seconds. So
Wow.
we're approaching the 10th day. 10th day
Yeah,
without, federal workers, essential workers getting paid.
yeah. Yeah, I
No
mean, I
one,
think
yeah.
we've had like longer ones too, but I mean, not under Trump, I don't think. But
So ironically, the longest ever government shutdown was under Trump in his first term, during his
yeah.
first term. I think it went for 35 days.
Oh, really? Hold on,
Yeah,
let me fact check this real quick. I know we're um
yeah, yeah.
longest shutdown. 2018, 2019. Yeah, that seems to
Yeah,
be accurate.
35 day shutdown.
Yeah, okay.
So it's nothing new for Trump, and this time uh, it gives them an excuse as well to remove federal workers, which they have been trying to do, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So so far they had to come up with various excuses, performance issues, blah blah blah, to fire people. But now with the government shutdown, a lot of the federal workforce is already on unpaid leave. So the government can just say don't come back, or you know
Right, exactly. And this is another thing that I was reading up and I also saw, and I know Trump also, oh, this is interesting. So Trump also tweeted this. During the election, we all talked about Project 2025. And Russell Vought, who is the OMB director right now, the budget
Mhm.
um,
Office of
Office
Management
of
Budget.
Budget, yeah, yeah, budget management budget. Yeah, he is the architect of that document, the Project 2025. Everybody was, blowing the whistle on it, saying, um, and what they're doing with the federal employees right now, firing them, letting them go. It was all written in that document, and Trump said he didn't know about it. Right, our president said during the elections cycle on the campaign trail. He said he didn't know anything about it, but then he tweeted out like
That he
threatening.
met with him, right? I think he
Right?
met with the writer.
Yeah. No, he's in the cabinet right
He's in
now,
the cabinet.
and Trump, like our president, he literally tweeted the word Project 2025 onto a tweet pertaining to the firing of people, and then he's pointing to the shutdown as the reason. But he's known all along that what was
This
in
was
Project
this
20.
was the
Yeah,
plan
yeah,
at
this was the
some
plan.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was telling some of my friends that they got duped because he said he never knew about the Project 2025, but he clearly did, and that's
Okay.
what's happening right now.
Well, for our podcast, let's go back to our
Yeah,
center stage,
yeah.
and
Let's
let's
do
talk
that.
about the one issue that has been the key topic in the shutdown, and that is healthcare. Right?
Yeah.
Republicans have been claiming that Democrats want to pass the AC subsidies, want to extend these subsidies and some of the other healthcare bills to pay for undocumented immigrants' healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
But let's look at some facts, right? So first of all, there is no legislation, there's no bill that says this money goes towards undocumented immigrants. Okay, now
Yeah.
let's look at some of the numbers. According to the Center for Medicare and Medicaid National Health, the United States healthcare spending is 44.9 trillion US dollars. 4.9 US trillion dollars. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, there is no section of the law, any bill that says there is money allocated for undocumented immigrants. What there is something called emergency Medicaid. And that is to treat people who show up at your emergency centers and they're bleeding or they have passed out, right? It's not about, at that point you don't look at what their immigration status is. It's basic humanity that we help each other, and that's where some of the funding is used to treat undocumented immigrants, right? But right, the emergency Medicaid funding, guess how much that is? It's 14.8 billion dollars. Now,
Okay.
sounds like a lot of money, right? But hold
Right.
on. Compared to that $4.9 trillion, it equates to approximately 0.4% of the budget, less
Wow.
than
Yeah.
0.5%.
Yeah.
And for that tiny amount, Republicans are, using that as an excuse to not pass the bill, because the bill actually has, they want to just straight cut Medicaid and all the benefits that not only help um, all Americans, right? Not just immigrants who are here legally. And that's another point, is that even forget undocumented immigrants,
Yeah.
even green card holders and visa folks are not eligible for the ACA subsidies that we are talking about.
Yeah.
So they're just making a fuss over something that does not exist at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, even Marjorie Taylor Greene has come out and said that without the extension of the ACA subsidies, the premiums are gonna go up. And this is not a both sides issue. This shouldn't be, because of the tax cut bill that they just passed recently. It's gonna cut into a lot of Medicaid, Medicare, and
Mhm.
also it's not going to extend the ACA subsidy. So yeah, I feel like this shouldn't healthcare of people shouldn't be um, put in.
It's not a game, right?
It's
It's
not, yeah,
not.
it's not a game. And
Yeah.
to go back to what you were saying earlier too, is that 0.04% of the budget going to emergency care. Hospitals and doctors take an oath to not let somebody just die because of you
Yeah.
know
It's basic
lack of insurance.
humanity, right? It's
Yeah,
basic
like
humanity.
they take an oath to like save lives.
Yeah.
So imagine, like, thousands of hospitals and doctors now without that fund. It has more of a burden. It becomes a more of an issue of, like, are they going to be penalized for saving somebody now? I mean, I don't know if I'm going on the wrong track, but that's always going to be in their mind, right? Like, they're not, the hospital
Yeah.
cannot
Yeah.
afford not to give that care if that
Yeah.
this fund is not there.
Yeah. I'm sure this, like, in an episode of Grey's Anatomy too, somewhere.
Yeah,
For anyone
I'm
watching that,
sure.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
Grey's Anatomy. Yeah,
or any of those like 911 emergency shows, right? When
yeah,
someone is in trouble, it's our basic humanity to help them.
for
We
sure.
don't look for what their immigration status is first. We first help them, and then
Right.
um, you know go on. And the other thing that we should keep in mind is, compared to the 14.8 billion dollars that goes to emergency Medicaid, right?
Mhm.
Again, that money doesn't go directly to any person. It goes to hospitals. It goes to
Right.
doctors, right? So, and clinics. So it's not going directly to people who are undocumented. It's going to these hospitals, and they are using that fund to treat people who come in their emergency care. So,
Right.
and $14.8 billion, compare that with how much money undocumented immigrants, bring to the economy, right? So, according,
Exactly.
there's a nonpartisan nonprofit organization, ITEP. They perform tax analysis and
Mhm.
economic analysis. According to them, the total amount that undocumented immigrants contributed to paid taxes, in terms of sales tax, property taxes, and payroll taxes
Payroll.
in
Yeah.
2022 was around $96 billion.
Yeah.
So 14.8 billion and $96 billion, for some of the folks who don't know which one is greater, which one is greater, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, they put more into the system than they get out. And this emergency fund that we're talking about,
Hmm.
it's not just something that undocumented immigrants utilize. I mean, it
Yeah,
could
it's
be
for everyone. It's for everyone.
it's for everyone. Like, imagine you don't have insurance, right? Going into
Yeah,
the hospital in an emergency case,
yeah,
then that fund is used as well.
of
And to go
course.
back to the point, obviously they put. I mean, they put that money that the undocumented immigrants kind of give to the system goes into Social Security, goes into Medicaid, goes into Medicare, but they never get that back the way citizens, get back Social Security at a certain age in retirement. Medicare gets funded with that money, but without expecting anything back, they actually contribute a lot, and that is a factual matter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see myself going to pick vegetables in any farms, even though
Yeah,
my parents and ancestors come from an agricultural country. I don't think I'd be able to do that, and I don't think a lot of Americans want to do some of these low-paying jobs. And who is doing all of those low-paying jobs that none of us want to do?
yeah,
Immigrants,
yeah,
undocumented immigrants,
immigrants, yeah,
in
for
majority of
sure.
cases.
Yeah, yeah, and then it's not just like you said, picking fruits and vegetables. They're in the service sector.
Yeah,
They are in hotels and resorts, and a lot of the restaurant chains too. Like
yeah. The
restaurants
service
rely,
industry is,
yeah,
yeah,
service industry as a whole. That's where a lot of the undocumented immigrants work too. So yeah, I mean they're contributing to the economy, to our bucket of pool of money that is used for so many other things. So I know we pivoted from the government shutdown to now exclusively talking about immigration. But was there anything more we want to add to the government shutdown? Because I know,
yeah.
like,
So something that I think I was talking to some of my friends, and this came up during a conversation, and I think I brought this up with you earlier as well. Is if the Republicans have the majority, how are we in a shutdown? Right? Can't they
right,
just vote and pass because they control the House, the Senate, and the White House? But there is something called the filibuster rule. What
yeah,
that basically means is that on issues like this, so this is an appropriations bill.
right,
So this needs to go through like a final vote in the Senate. And whenever an issue like this goes to the final vote, a senator can, or the party can just choose to, talk about the issue or debate about it with an unlimited time.
right,
So that's one of the rules in the Senate, is that you can debate about a topic for whatever amount of time you want. So whenever the vote is brought for a final vote on the floor, the Democrats would threaten to filibuster. And the only way to break the filibuster is with a supermajority vote, and that requires 60 votes.
right, yeah,
So that's where they're not reaching the 60 vote, and thankfully I would say. But of course, filibuster, there is a lot of debate about whether it's a good rule to have. There's arguments about, it lets the minority speak, and
mm.
forces the majority to compromise. But that's, I guess, a debate for another time.
Another time. But just to put more context into filibuster as a whole, is every time the other party or the other side makes it to the minority, they realize that they need that. Like it's
Yeah,
like it's like right the majority. Right now, the Democrats are not. They probably like the filibuster rule because now they can do something like this, right? Something like
yeah,
this, and then when the Republicans make it to the minority, they do the same thing. I mean, we know
yeah.
I think I forgot the name of the person who had the longest filibuster. Uh,
Well, recently it was Cory
yeah,
Booker,
Cory
right?
Booker broke the record, but the
Yeah.
guy before him, uh,
I don't
um,
remember.
was it something Thurman? I think we can look it up.
Are you
Uh,
asking your best friend?
Storm Thurman. No, yeah,
ChatGPT?
yeah, Storm Thurmond was the last person to do the longest filibuster, which was 24 hours 18 minutes, and if I'm not mistaken, he was filibustering like the Civil Rights Act or something. Like it was something very important. And you're right, Cory Booker, the senator from New Jersey, broke that record recently.
Yeah.
So yeah, to put more context, filibuster is a rule in the Senate that is there, and that is the sort of how the bill is not getting passed right now. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so I think there's still a lot to talk about, but we did cover a lot about the shutdown and healthcare today. Tell me, what's going on with this plenary authority thing? I think I saw somewhere that it's one of the highest search items this week.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like plenary of authority has been trending. I don't know if it might also be like the word plenary might also be trending on its own because
Yeah,
I've rarely heard that word being used.
I'm sure ChatGPT traffic went like
Yeah,
spiked up.
I'm sure it did, and that's why like we do have a video. So the source of this actually,
Awesome.
plenary of authority, it comes from this video of Stephen Miller, who went on CNN to talk about some of the events that are happening right now, where currently the government is sending troops to different cities, declaring war on our cities. We can watch that video and then talk about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, Stephen Miller, that's the current deputy chief of staff, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He is a chief of staff, and he's also the architect behind all these like deportations
And
and
the
declaring
immigration policies.
immigration
Yeah.
policies. Yes, he's the
Yeah. All
mastermind
right,
behind.
let's take a look at this video.
Yeah, for sure. Where is the video?
There you go.
Oh,
I think you found it.
okay.
We'll
Oh,
try to fix that and get back to you after joining us. By the way, you've called the district judge's ruling blocking the deployment of National Guard in Oregon legal insurrection. Does the administration still plan to abide by that ruling?
Well, the administration filed an appeal this morning with the Ninth Circuit. I would note the administration won an identical case in the Ninth Circuit just a few months ago with respect to the federalizing of the California National Guard. Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
Stephen? Stephen? Hey, Stephen, can you hear me? It seemed, Stephen, I apologize. It seems like we're having a.
yeah, that's what that video was. What do you think about that, Biraj, bro? Well, unlike Stephen Miller, I think he just doesn't. I think he's frozen or doesn't want to talk. But anyway, um, we can continue.
I
Oh
was
wait.
trying to remake the Zoom meme, right? Have you seen those?
Oh
Where the
yeah,
boss
yeah.
asks a question and they just act like they're frozen, and then
Oh
someone
yeah, yeah.
behind them.
Yeah, I mean, I think you did a great job because you had me fooled. I'm like, wait, hold on. Is he doing what Steven was doing, or is he just like frozen?
I
Um,
played a lot of statue games when I was young.
yeah,
Okay.
you had me fooled there. But to get back to the video, what Stephen Muir was referring to was the president's authority over federalizing the National Guard troops. When asked about that power, he cited I think Title 10 is what he said of the U.S. Code, and claimed it gave President Trump plenary of authority, which means complete control, like complete control over
Like
um
absolute control.
yeah, like complete and absolute control to direct the military as he wishes, right? Like but in reality, president doesn't really have full and ultimate authority over the military. There are a couple of acts. I think this one I might not know how to pronounce. I was trying it hard. Posse Comitus Act.
What? That
No,
can't be right. Can we put it on the screen? I want to try
Um,
pronouncing.
yeah. Look, hold on. I don't even know if it's on there. Yeah, let me see if I can put that on there.
Is it
Yeah. Posse. You try
Pos
it.
Comitatus Act?
Okay. Posse Comitatus Act. So
Comitatus
literally
Act.
what this is, it bars the use of military for domestic law enforcement, right? So
Mhm.
basically the president cannot declare something and then send federal troops to inner cities because military doesn't have the authority to kind of delve in domestic law, because I mean police and
They can't
state
police the
troopers.
civilian.
Right, they cannot police civilians, and this is why it was a big deal too in the first term too. In DC, when there were protests, there was National Guards there, which became a big deal. So, but again, going back to the point, Congress um, also has a lot of the check and balance where because the president in Article 2, Section 2, I think it designates the president as the commander of in chief, but Congress is the one, that
They have the
also
power
has.
to
Yeah,
declare war. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, that is also true. So certain circumstances, I don't know, um I don't think the president in any circumstances unilaterally declare war, right? It has to go through Congress.
it has to. Yeah,
Right.
Congress has to pass it first. And I think from what I understood from what you said and what I have read as well is that the Title 10, like president can give orders, but only after Congress declares war. And on foreign countries, when the military is deployed on foreign countries, yes, the president has um, some authority, but even then there are checks and balances. There's congressional oversight, and like you said, right, we cannot military cannot be used to police the civilian. I mean, that's how the American Revolution started, is when the British sent military to police civilians and collect taxes and all of that fun stuff.
Right. And I think, like what Stephen Miller said, I don't think was a blooper. I don't think it was like he slipped. Okay.
he
He
he slipped and spilled his their darker plans.
yeah, darker plans, and that's what I'm saying. So they're trying to use these smaller laws to try to enact some of these like
Try to broaden the power
yeah,
beyond. Yeah,
they're over. This is overreach, right? And then Congress doesn't. Is there? I haven't heard anything from like Congress on this particular issue either. I know there's a shutdown.
how can we expect anything from Congress, this
Well, right.
Congress, when
Yeah,
there is
they do.
you know
Yeah, yeah, they
there
do have the majority.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anything else you want to add to this? Because what I'm kind of like trying to like also kind of wrap my head around is like, where does anybody draw the line,
Mm.
when it comes to these type of authorities? And we just went over some of the facts that, like, plenary of authority. Nobody in the United States, no branch has absolute power. Absolute power, like, it only happens in dictatorships.
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Yes.
and I'm just like wondering, where is the red line, and is anybody gonna hold anybody accountable at this point?
I mean, that was the purpose of our government structure, is that we have these three branches that check and balance each other out. But right now, with all three branches being controlled by a similar group of
Yeah.
people, and on top of that, with the executive administration targeting people who stand up to them and speak out against them, it is definitely a concern. So, I think we as American citizens should be concerned about our democracy and where it's headed. I think the midterms next year and the next presidential election will be crucial in saving our democracy. There are a lot of changes that has to come, right? and I'm sure we'll talk more about this in our future episodes.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's definitely concerning. He is trying to overreach, find loopholes in small laws, ancient laws like these, and try to impose, either national guards or other types of rules on uh, various cities. And if you look at the cities where the national guards are being deployed to, you can
Yeah.
see that they're all, usually democratic cities or cities, states that vote
Hmm.
Democrat, right? You know, there are cities that have higher crime rates than some of these cities that are ran by Republican governors or Republican mayors, but we haven't seen anything there, right?
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know how some people can be so ignorant on this topic, or maybe they're just not seeing how um, the administration is using their power to target opponents, opposition, and which
Right.
that
Yeah.
is very, very scary in a democracy.
Right. It's very unidirectional, everything, like, because you, on the flip side, like, imagine the other party, like, other party winning, and then, like, declaring that some of these other red states, or populations in the suburbs, or even the countryside, like, and then they decide, like, they come up with some weird thing, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna send troops there because there's just too much wilderness and people can't drive the highway safely at night. Like, I don't know, but I'm just making that up. But if people start thinking about it like that, right now, when they're sending troops to blue state, blue cities, if you're not thinking about whether that is an overreach or not, then imagine when it's on the flip side. Then you would cry it's an overreach, right? So I
Or-
feel like we should definitely think of it from a subjective and objective point of view, and not only think about, oh yeah, blue cities bad. I mean, I saw this video. They declared war on Portland, right?
Yeah.
And they're like in like chicken costumes, and inside these little
Oh yeah,
fluffy
I
kids.
saw that. The White House press secretary said that the ICE facility is under siege by these immigrants and anarchists. And then
Yeah.
on the video, it was just a guy on a chicken costume protesting.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, it's a lot of comedy also, but on a very serious note, yeah, it is very dangerous, sets a bad precedent, and yeah, it shouldn't be happening. And just want to mention here, like, to you guys, our viewers, like, just to reiterate again and move on from this topic, that nobody has absolute power in the United States of America. Just believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now let's move on to our next topic. Let's talk about peace deals. So a bit of nuance and good news coming out of Gaza and Palestine, for Palestine, pertaining to Israel, is that President Trump announced that there was a peace deal that Israel has also signed. But before moving deeply into that, and what some of the context is with that deal, what Israel has agreed to, what Gaza has agreed to, what Hamas has agreed to. Biraj, I just wanted to ask, and for all our audience too, why don't we give a bit of context as to how everything has come to be, like a bit of history, bit of context on Israel, Gaza, and the whole, that section of the world.
Yeah. I mean, it is a complicated history, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and Middle East, since World War II ended, has been complicated situation. Before Israel and Palestine, before even World War II, the whole region was under the Ottoman Empire, right?
Mm,
And both Jewish people and the Arabs who are there, they both have historical claims to the land, right?
yeah.
If you look at history, um, factual history, theological history, whatever, They both have claims, rightful claims to the land. After World War II, or I think it was actually after World War One, that the British were ruling the area that we know as Palestine and Israel today. Under, it was not an independent country yet; it was under the British mandate. And then after World War II and after the Holocaust, um, I think it was a noble intention to create a country for the Jewish people, but the way that it was done and the whole situation became very quickly complicated, right?
Yeah.
Um, the the native Arab population who were already there, of course, their population was bigger, and a bigger population was forced to move into a smaller area, while the new Israel was much bigger for a lot less people. Now, that's not, I'm not trying to simplify the situation. Of course, there
Mhm.
are a lot of other factors involved, and like I said, it's complicated, right? And so, ever since that partition that the British did and created Palestine and Israel, there has never been a peaceful time, unfortunately, in the region. And coming to recent history, right, on October 7th,
Yeah.
2023, Hamas led a drone attack on Israel, killed a whole bunch of innocent people, and Israel then retaliated. However, after that, Israel has, definitely gone overboard. They have broken a lot of international laws, and now, as we all know it, they have committed genocide of innocent people. A lot of young children have died. So, I think it's this new peace deal that we are hearing and the ceasefire. We can hope is that it stays for a long time, and hopefully leads to a more permanent solution, because I don't think this deal is a permanent solution, right? And I think you have more context on that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we can dive into like the top like 5 points that are on this peace deal. To start with, Gaza becomes a de-radicalized, terror-free zone. That is the number one ask. The impact of this is obviously it's a foundation. It is, if achieved, everything else, aid, investment, governance, becomes possible, right? But the reality check here for this point is it requires a total disarmament of Hamas, the militant group that we're talking about, verified by international monitors, which has never been achieved before. Um, so this condition is a make or break condition, and it hinges on this. Get the long term peace in this area hinges on the fact that Gaza has to be de-radicalized and terror-free, and the language de-radicalized and terror-free being used, um, and this never been achieved before. At any point, if the international verifiers determine that there are some activities, then Israel can always come back and say, "Oh, there's still activities there. The peace deal is
And
done."
and when we say, de-radicalized, we of course do not mean that entire Palestine is radicalized, or right.
Yeah,
I think it's always a small group of people who use the means of violence. Um,
exactly. And also just to actually take one step backwards, while you were giving the brief history and talking about October 7, like you and I have never come on camera and talked about this issue, but I know that you and I have like always followed this issue like off camera. And one thing that always comes up is like whenever this topic comes up is, oh, do you denounce violence? Do you denounce terrorism? Yeah, like everybody that I know that follows this issue denies um, violence. So October 7th should have never happened. Hamas is a terrorist organization, plain and simple. There's no ifs and buts about that. But then whatever happened afterwards, right, with the humanitarian crisis, with everything, and that's where the issue is. I just want to lay that foundation. So now going back to this point about de-radicalization, we're talking about Hamas. We're not talking about the whole population of Gaza or the whole population of Palestine. You cannot say that 2 million people are de-radicalized. That is a generalization, and that is
Mhm.
very dangerous.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to do that as a pretense to gain more control of the area, um, and so much more that we can talk about. But
Yeah.
that is the context, right? Um,
Or any other key points
yeah,
that
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So full Israel withdrawal contingent on compliance. So for the first time since 2017, Gaza would be under non-Israel administrative if this were to succeed. But the reality check here too is the handover is tied to milestones, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? There are certain things that has to happen the way Israel and the United States want them to happen, and they are gonna withdraw the troops. They're gonna let humanitarian things go in, but all the successes are gonna be measured in milestones. I'm not saying this is not great. Put milestones, but how achievable is this? Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think even a few days of peace and not, not the killing of innocent people is good, but there has to be a more permanent solution. And from just looking at these key points, they seem very fragile, right? Like
right.
one, either Hamas or Israel could take one wrong step, and the peace deal comes unraveling.
Exactly, exactly. So, and then the last point we want to talk about is statehood, right?
That's the big one.
Yeah, that is the biggest one. And the people of Gaza, the people of Palestine, they have been demanding for recognition of their state. I know recently, during the UN the UN meeting that happened in New York, a lot of the European countries recognized Palestine, um, but I know Israel and the U.S. haven't. Right? Am I correct in saying that?
No, you're absolutely correct. And until that happens, right, any chance of a permanent peace deal or permanent solution to this crisis won't be achievable because the Palestinian people deserve a country. They deserve a place to call home, independent, sovereign country without interference from their neighbors, so that they can build their own future, right? But of course, like we said, there's work to be done on both sides.
Yeah.
Uh, I think within Palestine as well, some of the small extremist groups need to come back to the negotiating table. They need to denounce the violence and pursue the path of peace and negotiation.
Yeah, for sure. And that is, I think, at the crux of the issue from the Palestinian perspective, right? They want statehood, they want to be recognized, they want a home. I mean, and this is something we can relate it to. I mean, we were nationless, stateless for a long time. Since my birth, I was stateless, nationless for 11 years until we came to the States, and then I became U.S. citizen. So we can definitely connect to that point of at least being recognized and being under a state. Yeah. Before moving on from this topic, we just want to say, at least we have some like good news. At least there is something happening, right? And I hope the best for the Palestinian people, for Palestine, and for this peace, like this first couple of steps to go in and become something more, become something permanent. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. And the organization, the parties on both sides who have resolved to extreme violence need to be denounced, including Israel
Yeah,
and the genocide. So
yeah,
we have to reach out to our representatives and make sure that our voices are heard, and make sure most of, as you mentioned, most of the European countries have now recognized a Palestinian state. We
mm,
have to push our representatives so that the United States also recognizes the Palestinian state, because without place to call home, I don't know how there can ever be lasting peace in the region. And I
Yeah.
think it's important for the entire Middle East region's peace, long-term peace. This needs to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep talking about this and make sure to reach out to your representatives and voice your concerns.
Yeah, and also if you feel like to our viewers, if you feel like you want to talk more about this topic, you can always reach out to us, and we can always have a discussion. We love having these type of debates and going back and forth. So yeah. And yeah, I think we can move on to our next thing. What do we have next? We have Nobel. What is that?
Peace
Peace?
prize. I
Oh
think
wait,
I think you misspelled something there, buddy.
no, I actually wrote this yesterday thinking Trump was gonna win. Let me correct this.
Oh, was that the word that he was trying to win?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
one, that one, the PC one, I'm sure he can win, but not the peace one.
yeah.
I
He
don't.
can win the peace A one.
Yeah, he didn't win, right?
No, did he? No, I mean, oh
He
God,
didn't.
no. I don't think he
I
won.
guess I guess tweeting at 3 a.m. is not considered diplomacy.
No,
Right?
it's not. Definitely not. And then
Yeah.
also, what I found out was like the nominations have to actually happen, regardless of how many people or how many dignitaries, or doesn't matter what step, like where you are in the geopolitical world, geopolitical stature in the world. Nominations apparently happen in January, uh,
Hmm.
and President Trump wasn't in office until late,
January 20th.
yeah, late January. Yeah, it had to happen early January, the nominations. So um so just disqualified, I guess, from the from the get-go, right?
And I think even the nominations that did come for him were from Israeli Prime Minister and Pakistani Prime Minister, which
Right.
I thought was funny.
Yeah, almost
Maybe you should nominate me for something. Like,
yeah.
what good are friends for? I mean, I also give you stuff. I don't give you weapons, but I give you free stuff all the
Right.
time.
You wait, what? You give me free, what free stuff have you given me, bro?
You want me to get my receipt, all the receipts?
um you really want to talk about like the freebies? Nah,
No.
I'm kidding, man. But yeah, no. What I was gonna say was nominating you. Maybe I can nominate you for the Mark Twain Award. It goes out to the most comedian. I think comedians get that, the Mark Twain Award. Yeah, I
No.
can nominate you for that.
Thank
Yeah,
you. I am pretty funny.
yeah, self-proclaimed, but funny.
That's the trend these days, right? You self-proclaim.
Self
Um,
plug.
you ask military officers to applaud for you. You ask your friendly prime ministers to nominate you for a peace prize. That's the trend. I'm just following
Right.
the trend.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. But without going too much into our side topic, let's talk about like who actually won. So I don't know if I'm gonna butcher this name, bro.
Maria
Maria
Machado.
Machado.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Maria is from Venezuela. She is a avid supporter of democracy. She's raised her voice against the government over in Venezuela. Has done a lot of work, pertaining to like safeguarding democracy in her country. And yeah, congratulations to her. I honestly like I don't know too much about her and her context. I'll give this over to you in a little bit, but I'll just want to say keep it short, keep it quick. Congratulations to her, Nobel Peace Prize. That's it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, yeah. Without being said, I think
I
we can
think
go.
we're wrapping up today, right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's. I think it's gonna be a longer episode than the last episode. I'm afraid. Because some of the topics we
Well,
definitely.
our viewers love to hear more from us, right? Isn't that
I
right?
hope So I just hope they didn't leave after like the half point or even the first first 5 minutes, because nowadays we have short uh, attention spans. Hopefully we'll garner more viewers, and they're interested in what we have to say, and they stay until the end. But yeah, moving on from that, winding down. But for me, it will be winding up because I haven't yet talked about the Eagles. But just talking about weekend plans, bro. What's your plan this weekend?
Um, it is a long weekend, but I might totally, the probability of me doing nothing over the weekend is 100%, and that will be with 0% regret
Yeah,
because I do love my couch a lot and my TV, and I have, you know, yeah. So I think it will be just a relaxing weekend. I don't have anything exciting.
yeah. I mean, viewers can see it. I don't know if you saw it, but as soon as you said long weekend, I rolled my eyes because I don't have a long weekend. We don't have, I don't know, my job, they don't do Indigenous Day or Columbus, who whatever, whoever says it whatever they want. But I mean, I say it Indigenous Day. Okay,
Yeah.
let that record be straight. I don't say Columbus Day. um but yeah, I don't have a 3-day weekend. I just have a regular old 2-day, Saturday Sunday. Not gonna do much. What was
No,
that?
no football this weekend.
Yeah, no foot. Well, there is plenty of football this weekend, but the one that I should care about, we don't have. We do not have Eagles game this weekend.
So what
Uh,
happened? I know. So a little context of viewers. I was trying to get him to not talk about Eagles because I don't know about Eagles, but
dun, dun, dun,
he
dun.
wants to talk about Eagles.
I have to talk about the Eagles, man. What are you talking about? That is my life. I grew up in Philly. Um, Generally, first of all, let's just talk about Philly sports. Yesterday. Well, first of all, I don't even know where to start, bro. Okay, this is me like mentally thinking about what I'm gonna say next, because I swear to God, the last week was horrible for Philly fans. People in Philly who follow sports, it was the worst week. Um, Last time when we were recording this, I was like, "Oh, let's go. We have a
Yeah,
game." Yeah,
you were flying high. What
yeah,
happened?
yeah. We were flying high. We were 4-0, undefeated, and then we hosted the Denver Broncos last Sunday, and we lost that game. That game, it's debatable that the ref, gave some decisions that went against us. But
Oh, I see.
no, no,
I think your Real Madrid qualities are
no, 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 no,
showing
no,
up on
no,
the
no, no,
Eagles
no, no,
as
no,
well.
no, 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 no. It's not just me. It's not just me. You can look it
Okay.
up. A lot of the people that usually go against the Eagles also mentioned that some of the calls that happened during that game was bad refereeing. Okay, but I, as a Eagles fan and a sports fan, football fan, I'm not gonna just rely on that. We played, and like we played bad. Um, but coming out of that, I was like, okay, good. One loss is fine. We're 4-1. We can recover from this, and we'll be good. Go Birds, fly Eagles, fly. But then yesterday, Thursday night football, prime time on Amazon, we get our ass, bleep that out, handed to us by the freaking New York Giants. Okay, New York Giants
Uh-huh.
4-1. They are 4. They no, we are 4-1. We've won 4 games, lost one.
Was that completely unexpected?
Completely unexpected, because they've only won one game this whole season out of 5, and their quarterback is a rookie. Like he hasn't played more than 3 games.
I see.
And their rusher, their receivers, they're not like they aren't what like people in our roster. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Shaquan Barkley. I don't know if you've heard of Shaquan Barkley, but last year he ran more than I
Any
know
of these people?
I know you don't. Okay, yesterday's loss was horrible. The
Okay.
Denver loss, I could have been fine with. But yesterday's loss was horrible, and it was on all fronts. The offense looked stupidly stupid. The defense, okay, actually, let me just talk about the defense for a little bit here.
So
And this is
for our viewers, this is the place where GS comes to vent. So
yeah,
please,
yeah.
bear with him for a little bit. So are you done, or is there
No,
more?
I look. I'll be done real quick because my ears are only getting warmer by the second, and if I don't finish this within the next 30 seconds, I might blow. So the defense, we were missing some people, okay, and this is not for you, Biraj. You can shut your eyes and ears. All the Eagles fan out there,
Go.
yeah, you. So the defense, we were missing some people. Jalen Carter, he was injured. During the game, Quinyon Mitchell also got injured. He's the corner. He's a safety. He covers his bases. And then we also have a couple of guys, primetime guys, missing on the defense. So for the defense, I can agree that okay, fine, whatever, right? Defensively, if we had all the guys, we could have done better. But offensively, we were
What
absolutely
is
horrible.
a corner in football?
Um, so overall, all I want to say, I hated yesterday's game. I don't know, like we need to change maybe our offensive coordinator. We need the gameplay. Everybody's saying that the Philly used to have an identity, and right now in this season, it looks like we do not have an identity. We haven't figured out what we are. And yesterday, I saw that we haven't figured it out. So we need to figure that out. I don't know what that looks
Not
like,
me.
but
Not
if
me. I
if
can't.
that if that
Not
takes
me.
time, no, Biraj, I'm not talking to you at this time. I'm
Yeah.
directly looking at the camera. I'm talking to my folks. Okay,
Yeah.
figure this shit out next week, next Sunday when we play against the freaking Vikings. I don't want to see this crap. Okay, I'm
Okay.
done. I'm done.
All right. So, our episode today was 1 hour, 20 minutes of it was Eagles. So we apologize for that. Eagles fans, I'm sorry, for the losses. I hope you recover soon. Um, and I think that's a wrap up. Just quickly, all of our opinions, including the ones about Eagles and what we need to improve, are of our own making, of our own reflections. We do not represent an organization, any institutions, anybody, right? So, um, yeah, that's it. I think that's a wrap up on what's trending Friday. We will see you all next week. GS, any last words?
Go Birds, fly Eagles, fly. We will get it done next week.
Okay.
See you guys.
When the time comes for soccer, you're gonna have to listen to me for 20 minutes too.
Hey, listen, I will. And guess
Okay.
what? I'm wearing Ronaldo's jersey. Okay?
I did not notice that until now.
But anyway, we'll talk offline. You guys go have fun. See you guys next week.
Thank you for
Hey,
listening,
thank
watching.
you for listening. Yeah, WTF, come back to us next week.
All
See ya.
right.